final major of the season. Come Sunday, it's over. Won't have another major championship until the Masters next year. So didn't mean to start the video off like that. You can also get excited for football season. Or there's a golf event in Minnesota next week. We'll be here. We'll be breaking it down. But until then, it is the Open Championship. I am Geoff Fienberg. That is my guy at Tour Picks at Joe Idone. We are here for oddschecker.com/US. Smash the like. We're too deep into the week, Joe. The hyperbole is over. We've spoken about it enough. It is the 150 Open Championship. Hopefully we get a champion worthy of that claret jug for such a monumentous occasion. But until then, let's hit some props. I'll start us off here this week. We are both on the same player in similar but different markets. I'll save that one for a little bit, but I'll start us off. T40 for me, Gary Woodland. Just want to make sure I get the number right. Plus 150, as low as minus 110 on the odds checker grid. Woodland coming in to form at the right time. A very quality U.S. Open. Came overseas. You might have seen him on the leaderboard early in that event. Finished in 30th. Weird, but it can happen. But that low stinger, I think, can work well for Gary this week. Nice open track record in the past. His greatest event ever, the U.S. Open on a oceanside golf course. I think his game will suit very well this week. Gary Woodland, T40 for me, plus 150. Lead us off on your end, Joe.
I'll stick with the T40 market and a similar price. I got plus 145, which is over at FanDuel on one Patrick Reed. So that's all the way down to plus 110 on DraftKings. Make sure you shop that price. Check out the odds checker grid as always, and take the additional 35 points over at FanDuel. Look, it's a major. I kind of have a little bit of a trust factor with Patrick Reed. Am I overemphasizing what happened in Portland? Maybe. But looked good. Finished third, was good off the tee, hit a ton of fairways. And even before Jeff, he exited the PGA Tour, the iron play had really started to return for Patrick, which was a positive sign for me because that was always a strength of him. Anytime you talk St. Andrews, there's going to be a lot of nuances and creativity that's required around these massive green complexes. I trust Patrick Reed in almost any occasion that requires a player to get up and down from tough spots. I think it's a good number for him. Maybe we're catching a little bit of a bump on some of these guys' numbers that went to live. That's a whole nother conversation, but I'm going to take that plus 145 on Reed to T40 this week.
All right, let's piggyback on that, and I'm going to put a little more gasoline onto this fire, Joe. Going to take your T40. I'm raising it into T20 plus 410 on that grid right now for all the reasons you kind of laid out. I was watching that little. I don't think Reed even knows if he's playing on. Like, he's just such a weird cat. That's a whole side story from it. Well, scrambling, I think, as a whole, from a statistical standpoint, is a little overrated this week as just a bare bones statistic. You have to clearly have good scrambling stats, but me having that intrinsic belief that you're just can be very creative, and we know Reed can do that in much the same way people like myself are banking on Cam Smith to do it, in much the same way, not comparing the players, but that same way you're banking on Jordan Spieth. To be able to do it. There many years ago, I started making golf content where it looked stupid for a while. I think it was a Masters. Like, why bet Spieth at 18? You can bet Patrick Reed at 100. Now we sit here all these years later. They both just have one green jacket, and that's going to be an embarrassing comp. But I'm just saying it's that even Kevin Kisner, who's worse than Patrick Reed, they have that creativity around the green. All systems go. I could have just left it off with your end on Reed. So I'm in plus 410, Joe, on that T20.
Love it. I'm going to jump all the way up to a top 10 and do a little piggybacking on myself from something that I took last week, and I'm going to run it back. So when I talked to you last week, this same time, I said the squarest bet of the week that I'm probably going to ever make on this prop show was Xander to finish in the top 10. He obviously went along to win. I wish I would have had that winning ticket, but the top 10 felt very easy. getting a decent number on it again. Like the guy's playing unbelievable to finish top 10 this week. He's plus 210 over at Bet365. That's 60 points less over on DraftKings. So the best number is out there on 365. Over double your money on Xander Schauffele. Do I think he can potentially win if we're going to call the JP McManus an event? 4 straight events. Man, that's super unlikely, but we've seen guys get on these runs, particularly lately, and the train doesn't seem to be derailed very easily. Playing awesome. What more can you say? He's 2-1 to finish in the top 10. I feel like that's a pretty safe and wise wager.
Like a lot of people, Joe, have access to Bet365. We've got to feel silly because when he won the Travelers, they posted literally the day after he won the Travelers, they posted a 33. They're like, yeah, we know you guys have your opinions on Xander, like him or not. Dare you to bet him to be hot enough to go win the Open at a boosted number. Listen, if I'm going to lose a lot of money this week, responsibly, of course, I hope it's Xander. I hope it's Rory. I hope it's someone I'll be happy for. You know, if the golf fan in me, the golf better in me, like, you know, to land on one of my own picks, golf fan in me, there's a potpourri of guys that I'd be happy to see lift that jug. I'm going to bring us to the matchup side here to the top. Jon Rahm plus 100 over Scotty Scheffler. Ooh.
Yeah, buddy.
Sounds scary. You know, just it can maybe an experience factor. Morikawa, that course last year, feel like that's going to be a bit more of an outlier as we continue our Open Championship events in the coming years. Scotty Scheffler, clearly amazing, but it's Jon Rahm, and it's been the putter that's been a deterrent for him. He's gaining strokes on the green, 6 of his last 7 events. They're now, I've seen like 21-1 to win this tournament, Joe. My card's already in. Go check it out. The video with Rick, check it out on the OC feed. It's all there. Not betting Jon Rahm. Cards in. But I want to say the last time he was over 20-1 was that like Memorial that he won. Like the last time they put a 2 in front of Jon Rahm's name, he won the tournament, and it's been 2+ years since he's ever been in a tournament with a 2 in front of his name. I just think situationally it works better than people are giving him credit for this week, in my opinion. So I'm willing to take on Scotty Scheffler plus 100, not even laying money on a Rahm prop on a head-to-head.
Yeah, taking down world number 1. Okay, here's my matchup. And it's interesting because the 2 players that are offered in this match, I have 2 futures that I bet back in December when we did an early show on the Open Championship. And it just happens to be these 2 guys. One was a great price, and one turns out to be a horrible price now. It's Sam Burns and it's Victor Hovland. Burns is the dog in this matchup. He's plus 105 to beat Vic. I feel like we're at a tale of 2 players on different trajectories right now in terms of what their form is looking like. Burns is on the way up, while tends to be volatile from time to time. Is performing better each and every week, is gaining confidence, had that finally get his feet in the fire a little bit at the US Open in a major championship Sunday. And something's up with Victor. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think this would have been a great course for him, but I have some concerns now. Burns being the dog in this matchup, while also being, having a lower price in terms of the outright betting markets, I think presents some good value. Plus 105 on Sammy B over Vic.
There it is. It's quite, quite a shame. Just think, I don't know. To think where we were saying about Vic at Christmas, where it is now.
I know.
I like Vic. I think there still could be a strong week here for Vic, but it feels impossible to sort of hit your ceiling with the form he's coming in on. I love both those players that you just mentioned. Before we get out of here, Joe, we can't do it without, just doing a quick Tiger 101. It's been great to see. We can buy into all that hyperbole. Not being too aggressive here. I'm going to eat the chalk and enjoy it with all of you. Tiger minus 135 over at PointsBet to make the cut. Come on. Like,
he's in there.
I don't want to use the magic words here, so I'm not, because it'd be one thing to cost myself money. It'd be one thing to put any bad juju onto Tiger. Like this course, the amount of practice he's been playing the last 2 weeks. Feels great. Guy must feel, I don't know, relatively speaking, it seems like he feels fantastic at the moment, Joe. Knock on wood, fingers crossed. And you think he's going to wave goodbye on Friday and not Sunday? Fat chance. Minus 135. Like, that's so long to St. Andrews is not happening on Friday. No. Tiger to make the cut. I don't know, some magic big plus money thing. I'm not thinking we're getting a Disney movie, but 135 seems super generous over at PointsBet for this one.
Totally. And furthermore, I think he's going to do better than just make the cut. It, like, I talked a little bit about this on my show. If I'm going to put an over-under on finishing position for him, this may be a little lofty and clickbaitish, but I think like 25th. Yeah, I think he can do that. Here, I got a Tiger prop for you. This is a matchup that they're offering, and I'm going to test my luck a little bit here because if go back through the old videos, I've been on an insane run with these matchups. I haven't missed in a long time. I'm going to take Tiger as a substantial dog, and I can't believe that he was this big of an underdog. He's plus 160 in a matchup against Bryson DeChambeau. Talk about a guy who I think is going to be waving goodbye on Friday. That's Bryson. The Open in him, just the wires don't connect properly in his brain to a link style golf course. It never has. It's frustrated him. I don't feel like he has the shots to make it work at St. Andrews. Is there an avenue where he gets the driver right and kind of, pieces this thing apart and drives it up by a bunch of greens and gets up and down for birdies? Of course there is. I feel much better about the likelihood of Tiger Woods, wherever he's playing from, playing the course properly, the way that the R&A intends it to play, the way that the original design of the golf course was intended to play. He's won twice here. Say whatever you want. He's a huge dog against Bryson, and that's a bad number, Geoff.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, you're sort of going to take your chance that Bryson's not going to, do something extravagant, and
sure,
Tiger seems safe. Like, that's the crazy thing. It seems like the safer play on this golf course. I'm excited to see what Bryson is going to be about, Joe. All right. Before we get out, just, I don't know, a final thought on this thing, maybe like your winning score. I don't know. You could take this any way you want it, Joe. Floor is yours.
Okay, so in terms of the winning score, I'm going to say 12 to 14 under. I don't think this thing gets out of hand, even with good weather. They understand how to make this course tough, and they can kind of change that based on the conditions accordingly. And
they're
I don't
get
think
like US Open like crazy, like, you know what I mean? Because there's
going to be a day. There's going to be a day like there's going to be a day like Saturday at the US Open where like the average, like even the top guys are shooting +1 and moving up the leaderboard. I do think there will be that day, and they will have a day where it plays easier. Not going to get out of hand. Final thought, like, this could be, I don't know, a farewell to this season, a farewell to the best field that we're going to have in a long time, with so much uncertainty with not only the future of golf, but the future of where players are going to play, how they're going to get into events. I'm excited to see this. We've got Tiger Woods. We've got all the storylines you could ever imagine. We've got St. Andrews. They've been playing golf around this neck of the woods since the 1400s, and we're going back to this course. I don't expect players to break it whatsoever, and I think we're in store for a phenomenal week. If you want to set those alarm clocks early, grab yourself a couple of coffees, maybe a little Bailey's in there, and sit back and enjoy the 150th edition of the Open Championship. Great to talk to you again, buddy. I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, it's always the best. And for so long I kept going back and forth that they will break it, that the old lady will defend herself. No, they'll break it. Modern tech, modern ball, they'll break it. They'll break her without wind. But as my final thought is, I don't think like 12, because you look at those past scores, even when it can get windy, they're still gonna clear 15. But yeah, I'm starting to think like the broken aspect, I don't think we're gonna have that conversation at all. And as my good buddy Tim Anderson said to me, 100 years ago, they probably had the same conversation we're having today. thinking the new ball, the new whatever, the new club, gonna break it. So it's always been a thing. And you got to look at this old lady like you do Tom Brady. Like until she breaks herself or is broken, you just have to believe she'll withstand anything. So that, I guess, on my final thought is in this moment, final thought, I think she'll withstand one more time. Modern tech, modern ball. They know exactly what they need to do, as you said, to do it. So let's have a beauty. It's the last one. It's the last chance to, have the big roll till week 1 of football season, Joe. So plenty of time to win it back. For Joe, I'm Geoff Fienberg. We'll see you next week. Not the 150th at St. Andrews. It's like the third at the third 3M in Minnesota, but we'll be there breaking it down. We out.